What's happening, everyone? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to yet another client interview. Today, I'm joined again by another one of our amazing clients, Aman. The reason why I say it again is because this is his part two, and we had an interview with him 7 months ago talking about how he scaled from 3K to 40K a month, and now he's pretty much doubled his business. So I'm just gonna give him the floor to catch us up on how he's been doing. So, Aman. For the people watching, why don't you introduce who you are, who you serve, and the transformation that you deliver, and also what's happened since the last one, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Norm. I wouldn't have done it without EasyGrow. So some background on me. My name's Aman. Um, I launched my YouTube channel about 5 years ago. So it's about like 5 years of total from my when I guess technically launched my organic audience to today. But I only really started my business about a year and a half ago when I started actually trying to monetize, actually launched an offer. And I joined EasyGrow about 1 year ago. So we're looking at a little over a year, so about
Hmm.
13 months ago joined the program, started working with Charlie and you guys. My offer is essentially helping people break into their first job in tech. So if someone is struggling to get an interview, get a high six-figure job, I was able to do that. So I was able to get 5 or 6 high-paying internships in software engineering and also multiple six-figure jobs at 21 or 22 years old. So I do the exact same transformation. Someone has a technical background, needs to get hired with a high-paying six-figure job. We just help them facilitate that transformation. And in terms of the numbers, I joined EasyGrow and I was doing just, 5 to 8K a month, maybe back then, about 13 months ago. And I think our best month yet was 130K in May or something. And then we're on track to hopefully hit like 150K for July, ideally. And we don't really see any like I'm sure there's gonna be challenges, but we don't have a cap yet as high as we've been able to go.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, man. I think when you actually first joined us from our first interview, I think you mentioned on average it was 3K a month you were doing, but it was just inconsistent, where it's like some ups and downs
Yeah.
mainly. But man, that is absolutely crazy. So yeah, killer stuff, man. Um, for the people watching this right now, obviously we done our first interview, and I highly advise everyone to check out part one, right? But just to give them a brief overview, man, of like the problems you were facing, what drove you to join the program to begin with, and then we can dig a bit deeper into what has gone on, not just when you first joined, but also since the last interview to go from like, I think it was like 30K to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I joined EasyGrow, I was running this program. So I was coaching students. I had done probably closed maybe 3 or 4 clients. It was definitely under 5 students that joined the program. So it was a handful of people joined, started working with us, and I saw some potential there, but I just didn't know what to do beyond the lead gen side of things. So I generated probably 300 applications to my program because the whole YouTube thing, I was more natural at that. I kind of had that figured out before I joined EasyGrow. But what I needed from you guys was conversions. I had
Hmm.
literally knew nothing about sales, literally nothing. And then fulfillment. I didn't know anything about how to scale like an info product, how to, I believe you got, what is it? Consulting Nirvana is your
Yeah,
guys'
yeah, yeah.
version of that, but didn't know anything about that. So that's kind of like what EasyGrow kind of almost completely launched and did for me was full conversion system, full sales system, and then also full complete fulfillment overhaul and system. Lead gen, I reached out to other products, and you guys helped a little bit with that, but it was mainly those big pillars of running a business that EasyGrow helped with. So after joining the program, I was able to. The first thing was complete sales overhaul. So Charlie has some of the best sales training that I've seen so far. Um, that completely changed everything. So like I learned sales from scratch through
Hmm.
that. And then I was able to master my offer, sell my own program myself. And then I was able to master fulfillment through your guys' techniques in consulting Nirvana, learning how to actually build out a roadmap, a course for my students, and then also bring in live coaching on top of that to create an outcome. And then the final, probably greatest unlock is the results-based guarantee we offer, very similar to you guys. That is just such a cherry on top that probably doubled our business, which is that like,
Yeah.
hey, we're so confident that this is going to work that we will actually give them their money back if they do not get the outcome that we offer here. So those are kind of like the biggest transformations that like EasyGrow provided that got me to that initial 40, 50, 50K months, just myself up until that last interview we did.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, man. Two things I want to touch on there. It's funny you mentioned the sales module because, like, even at the time you joined, we were actively looking at that and thinking, man, we need to update this. We need to update this. But it's so it's funny you say, oh my God, this is amazing and whatnot. But obviously, as you know, Aman, like you were part of the program for such a long time, right? We're constantly adding new things in, and we've got a whole R&D department refining what's in already. So, it's funny because the sales module that you went through we're refining that now and it's going to be completely revamped, so it may be
Wow,
worth looking at. So yeah,
nice.
but no, super happy to hear that helped you. No sales experience, right? You stepped in and that was like your first foundation of having a
I'd
salesperson
done,
in place.
yeah, I probably skimmed through one or two books, maybe
Oh
watched a
yeah,
few
yeah,
Alex Ramosi
I remember you
videos.
saying, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
now.
yeah. It was like I had like very little bit of sales training.
Yeah,
I knew some guy who was like closing for some other program, and then he was just
yeah,
giving me some like high level recommendations, right? But literally, I'd never gone through like a 20, 30 hour like dedicated
yeah.
framework for how to sell this program.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I remember now because I think the first interview we were speaking about books, and it's like because I read
Yep.
sales books as well, but it's like there's only so much you can pull from it. So,
Mm.
yeah, the offer stuff I really want to touch on that, Aman, because it's funny you mentioned this. Like we had two clients, Edwin and August, they're business partners. When they were part of our mastermind, one of the first pieces of feedback they got, they had like a 7 day refund policy, and that was their offer. But that issue is anyone can turn around after 7 days and get a refund. So all we done with them was hey, remove this, add an offer that's attached to an outcome, increase the price, and that literally like doubled their business, which sounds ridiculous, but you yourself know how powerful having a good offer is when it comes to just increasing sales, increasing revenue, and also reducing complexity because you're fulfilling for one thing. So why don't you touch on that, man? What is like the big change you had with your offer, and how did it allow you to scale to where you are?
Absolutely. So I completely agree. I think the offer is 50% of the job is literally just having an amazing offer. And then the rest, obviously, you have to deliver on that offer. You have to be able to convert people, but
Yeah,
that's a major level up, is just having the confidence to have a great offer. And the way I've heard it said is that when you have a results-based offer, they're no longer buying a program, they're buying the outcome, right? Like
yeah,
for our program, you will literally get a software engineering job, your goal job, not just any job, the job you want, or you will get a full 100% refund. So that goes to show that like we're so confident that when someone joins our program, they're getting the outcome. Like it's literally like, here it is, here's the outcome. And I know for you guys, it's like maybe there's some different version of it, but it's 20 clients or a full refund.
yeah,
Right. So when somebody joins your program, let's say they're selling like a 3K product, they can literally just do 20 times, that's $60,000 guaranteed, right? So it's a no-brainer at that point to actually work with someone. So 100%, I think as soon as I added that results-based messaging and language and guarantee in the contract in our program, that just significantly improved everything from that point on.
yeah, perfect, man. Now let's talk about this whole 30K to 130K because that's mental. So for people watching this, it's funny because I reached out to Oman trying to shamelessly pitch him that our mastermind, but then he shot me down. But and it was a the best way I could have ever been shot down because he mentioned, oh yeah, no, by the way, doing 100K a month. Thanks for their help. There's no problems that we need fixing right now, which is great. So yeah, Aman, catch us up on that, man. Like, what more did you do with the business? If it was the same things, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, talk to me about any changes you made to go from 30K to you're on track to hit 130, I think you said this month.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, it was probably two big chess moves we made. The
Yeah.
first one was hiring closers. And it
Yeah.
sounds obvious, but I was doing all the selling myself. And as everyone knows, if you're the entrepreneur, you're doing the coaching, you're doing the fulfillment, you're doing the lead gen too, you're managing the team, and you're doing sales calls, you can't do more. And I know Charlie's doing 10 sales calls a day or whatever, but I cannot do more than 5 or 6
Yeah.
max. And I know Charlie and Bo, they're like a team, right? So Charlie's doing
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
sales calls a day, Bo's doing the fulfillment. But I was doing all of that. So because of that, I couldn't do more than 4 or 5 calls a day maximum. Um, so I was limited, right? Like I was limited at, maximum 15 calls, like say 16, 17 calls a week, and I was good at closing. Like I was closing at, 30, 40% for my program.
Beautiful.
But because of that, it's like I couldn't scale beyond that point. So I had to take the leap of faith, and I was like, I'm going to try to get a closer and just see how if I can like provide leads. Now, there was always the biggest concern with hiring a salesperson is do you have enough calls for them? Which is why I know
Mm,
Charlie always would like advise people don't like do calls to the very last minute, and only when you can give like 15 calls a day or something, then get your first salesperson. So I kind of took the leap of faith. I was like, you know what, we're gonna try it. If I run out of leads, I'll just like lose my investment and then just go back to closing myself until we do it. So I actually worked with Closers.io, just done for you.
yeah.
I didn't want
Shout
to
call.
actually, yeah, I didn't want to, take the effort of recruiting, knowing what's going wrong, like spending 2 months trying to find a good person. I was like, whatever, they're an agency. I'll pay them like what, 15K or something. They'll just give me a closer who has like 5, 10 years of experience with a guarantee. So bought them in. His name is Scott. He's still with us 5, 6 months later. He's incredible at what he does. And that was pretty much the first step there. So as soon as we had a full-time salesperson, we instantly jumped to about like 70, 80K a month in
Nice.
revenue. As soon as because I mean he's taking calls all day long, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now all of a sudden, like we can double the calls, double the revenue. But what I owe Charlie here is that I think a lot of people make the mistake of hiring a salesperson too early. And the problem with that is that you don't know what sales. So you can't troubleshoot. You
Yes.
can't teach someone sales that you don't know. And we still encounter all sorts of issues of the sales funnel, the sales process, the sales messaging. And because I spent 6 months closing hundreds of calls myself, I'm able to coach the team because I understand the prospect. I understand how to build pain. I understand how to build that bridge and position us as that bridge to get to that outcome.
Yeah.
So step one was getting that, second salesperson. The other element was hiring coaches underneath me. So that was the second big level up. I mean, you guys do exactly this. You've got like 5, 10 experienced coaches as part of EasyGrow. And again, I was spread thin. I couldn't really scale when I'm doing, hours of coaching only myself. So we did the exact same model, brought in, right as of now, we have 6 industry experts. We've got engineers at Facebook or Meta, Google, Amazon,
Oh,
Microsoft. We've
sick.
got
Yeah, yeah.
recruiters at Microsoft, Amazon, these like literally big tech companies. They're working underneath us to actually coach our students. And that does two things. One, it frees up my time to focus on leadership, execution, scaling the business. But two, it brings even more authority because now when we have a team of industry experts and me, that sounds a lot better than just me, right?
Yeah.
So, especially for this offer. So those are the two greatest level ups. And then finally, the reason why we're doing um like in the mid 6 figures per month at this point is we just hired a second salesperson.
Yeah.
So brought in a second closer, just double the leads. And it wasn't easy, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
hard to get, 10 to 15 qualified calls a day. That's not easy, but I don't know. I brought in the second closer and I just sat down for like 10 hours a day and I was like, I'm literally going to just bring in as many leads as possible, and then we were able to pull it off.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, man. There's a couple of things I want to touch on there. And yeah, I'm so happy for you because again, like this popped out the blue for me when I when I popped you a message. It was like the best reply I could have received. One thing that you said was absolutely killer, Aman, was not outsourcing sales too early. And it kind of comes back to not outsourcing anything too early, because when you outsource something too early, you don't know how to fix it or manage the person who you've outsourced it to. And as a result, you lose power, control, and autonomy over your business. And I always reference this where, like, when I joined the program, so this was Charlie and Bo's first variation of the program, like 3 years ago, right, as a client, one of the first things I saw was a student posting a selfie of him crying, saying, "Oh, I've lost all my clients. I lost my media buyer and I lost my clients." I'm thinking, "Oh my God, you didn't know how to fulfill. Your media buyers run away, and now look what's happened." So he wasn't able to step in and fix things. So it just goes to show, like, it's so important to outsource when you've earned the right to outsource. And that's exactly what you've done because now, let's just say Scott, your closer's having a bit of hiccups. You know everything in and out, and you can step in and fix if needed. It's the same with your second closer, and that's a great spot to be in. Another thing I relate it to is this whole like we're in the AI era. Everyone wants AI to do their jobs for them, but in order for that to happen, you need to know how to do your job. And then by doing that, you can actually manage the AI accordingly. Because I've seen people try and use AI, but the AI is not working. And that's because they don't know what they're doing in their own job. And I've had instances with my role, for example, where, you know, let's just say handling you know this, Aman, I run the ops side, I'm on the back end, I'm dealing with fires, problems, or whatnot. It's my brain's like an encyclopedia. I can handle any type of situation. Now I can use a bot because I've earned the right to do it manually. If I went to the bot straight away, no go. And it's the same principles here. So absolutely love that, man. Another thing I wanted to touch on was coaches. This is another thing where when people start their business, they think it just has to be them. But one of the easiest way you can make your product even more valuable is to hire experts within your own industry. Same with what we do, where yes, Charlie and Bo know what they're doing. Selway in-house, head of product, head of setting, he knows what he's doing. Myself, operations school, all that good stuff. But there's so many people in our community that aren't part of our company that knows more than we do, and it's so easy to get them in to make our product even better. And when you were describing recruiters and experts in all these big companies, that's a massive game changer, man. And it's a great example of how the product goes beyond you. And also I think at a founder level, it's kind of like you got to park your ego to the side and say, hey, this is bigger than me, and this is going to make the product even better.
100%. I completely agree with all of that. On the note about AI is great at giving you options, but you have to use your judgment to pick which
Yep,
option makes sense. It's gonna
exactly.
give you like 10 different things. You don't know what's crap and what's actually good of those 10 options. So yeah, I completely agree. You need to do these things yourself. Um, like we're at this point right now where we have two closers. We've really scaled up leads. We played around with ads. That's another thing. We launched our first
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube ad. That's been working decently well as well. But the lead quality's gone down significantly, and we're still closing at pretty good rate. But now I'm back in the trenches. I'm reviewing a bunch of calls. We're doing dedicated coaching every single day for the sales team. Just to try to bring that close rate up a little bit more to try to figure out like troubleshoot what's going on. But if I
yeah,
didn't know anything about sales, if I just like was like, oh, some closer do it, like it's not going to work out. And I have
exactly.
friends who, someone just approached them and it's like, you have a big audience. I'll build the funnel. I'll hire the setters and closers. And then they're complaining, oh, like this is a third closer that quit. What's going wrong? I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't even know what the closer it is. I haven't reviewed a single call. I don't know
Yeah,
what they're telling my audience. And I'm just like, look, man, you need to build this yourself. You need to understand your
it's
funnel and your sales script is your business. That's your business, man. That's how you make money. So
yeah,
why are you allowing some random guy to go build the entire and if that guy leaves, if that guy hits with a bus, like you're done.
it's
The
done.
whole business is done.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
and
I completely agree with you have to do things
p
yourself.
perfectly put. And to people watching this, I've known Aman for like over a year now. He's earned the right to do what he's doing now, and he's still getting his hands dirty when needed. So for context, for people watching this, I've got literally Aman's activity on school. I know he's joined coaching calls. He's asked a lot of questions himself, not his VA, not his team members, himself. Yeah, it's him asking these questions, him executing, him doing the dirty work. And literally, like 12 months later, he's now in a position where you're starting to evolve into a recruiter now, Aman, where you're no longer a founder where you're pushing all these buttons. You're like a recruiter, placing the right people in places, which is great. So I'd love to actually touch on that. How's the transition been from you being the doer, right, to now your business almost quadrupling, and now you sort of stepping out of the doing side of things and putting people in the right places? How's that transition been for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've definitely have felt that at this point where pretty much every single part of the business should kind of be going through someone else. Um, so
Yep.
about 80 to 90% of our functions are kind of we have like the right people at the right jobs. But it is a pretty crazy transformation to go from 1 year ago, the buck ends with me. I'm doing literally every single thing to 1 year later, we've got a team of about 10 to 15 people. And they're like every single part of the business has a dedicated person who's supposed to handle it. So I won't lie and say it's easy. It's a learning curve. Like I'm
Yep.
stepping into that more like CEO role, manager, hiring, been reading a lot of books in that regard, like who the A method of hiring, building out scorecards, interviewing, learning how to source a pipeline of qualified candidates for all the roles, running quality control in my coaching calls, making sure they're giving our students the right advice.
Great work.
So
Yep.
it's not easy, but that's kind of been the next hustle and grind. But I'm confident that in the next couple months we'll kind of like settle in. I'll build out a system for that too, and we'll keep on scaling.
Yeah, killer stuff, man. Talk to me about your operations. So, talk to me about your team size. I know it's you got two closers. Let me know if there's any other team members, and also let me know how many active clients you have on the books and how many you signed per
Oh
month.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll start with the clients. We've I think about 250 in the past 14 months,
nice.
15 months. So we have about 250 people. We're bringing in about 30 to 40 a month. Um,
Nice.
should be about KPI is about 34 total. So 17 for each salesperson. They need to be hitting that. So yeah, that's a number of clients. For the team, it's we can start with like lead generation. We've got two full-time
Hmm.
video editors. We have an agency helping with the thumbnails, but I understand I've been doing thumbnails for years, so
Yeah, yeah,
they make the thumbnails, but I can instruct them what to do. I think that's it. Oh, we are hiring a full-time script writer, so that's
yeah.
on the lead gen side of things. In terms of operations, or actually, we'll go into sales and conversions. We have two full-time salespeople. I think that's it for conversions. We tried a setter. Setter didn't really
Nice.
work out. Um, like just for whatever my model was, whatever my angle was, we actually found it easier to do like some automated setting and then bring in our closers to like do probably like 30 minutes of setting a day on the best leads. And that just
Yeah,
seemed to work better just based on our unique funnel here. And then on the fulfillment side of things, we've got six coaches. We've got an operations person, just dedicated support, operations, and she also like does some assistant work for me. And I think that's it. We also have like a cinematography intern who helps with like the lead gen side of
yeah.
things. So in total, about 10 to 15 people on the team, about five or six full time.
Nice, man. Nice. How many hours you working?
I mean, as an entrepreneur, as the 100% owner, like you're always locked in. So yeah, I mean I'm grinding every single day on the weekends, at least one or two weekends as well. Like I'm on. Um at this point of my life, I'm still only 23, so I'm still on the younger side.
Wow.
So I guess the big three priorities right now are like business, health, and then I would say like relationships as well. But I'm
Yeah,
not really dabbling with anything else. This is kind of like the big three categories I'm just investing a lot of time and effort into.
yeah, beautiful. And it looks like you're growing without pulling your hair off. Or at least you're making it look that way, man, where you've
Yeah,
got these
yeah. I
people
mean,
in
again,
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like for random story, I had a full-time, I actually hired my full-time first full-time ops person. They started
Nice.
on Monday and quit on Tuesday.
No way. That's like me when I
So
was in sales for Charlie.
they started on Monday and on Tuesday I was
Yeah.
like, they didn't clock in. I'm like, where is she? Like, what the hell? And then I'm DMing with the recruiter. I'm like, can you call this person? Like, where the hell are they? And then at like 8 p.m. I get this email which is like, oh, I have some health issue and also you're not paying me enough, so I'm done with it. And I
Yeah.
was like, look, if you'd asked for more, I would have paid you more. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But I like to come back to the quote that entrepreneurship is like staring into the abyss and eating glass, from Elon Musk. And that is what it is. And at every level, there's some new challenge. And this is why we get the outsized returns because we're willing to like eat shit and kind of deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm overall things are going in the right direction.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff, man. I think in our first interview, man, I asked you how's life changed because you went from like 3K to 30K a month, and you said you're still grinding away. So now you went from 3K to about to hit 130K for the month. Did you buy any Lambos yet? You buy any Rolexes? Like how's life changed, man?
Literally nothing. I mean, I guess the only thing that's changed is I moved to, or like I'm right now I'm located in New York City for
Yeah, yeah,
business. Like I relocated myself temporarily at least, or for the short term here. Um yeah, literally nothing. I just spend more on knowledge. I spend more on business. I value my time more, so I don't take the subway. I just Uber everywhere.
yeah.
I have a full-time housekeeper who does all of my cooking, cleaning. I have like a
Nice.
private chef who just deals with that. But and I have like, personal trainers on the health side of things. But dude, honestly, I don't find value at all in like, Rolexes. I
Yeah,
don't think there's anybody out there who actually buys that shit, man. Like I think there's like I know Charlie also like he'll just like buy like 100,000 steaks. That'll just be
yeah,
like the
yeah.
way. Yeah, I don't
Exactly.
think anybody actually to get to the point where you're doing like 100K, 200K, I'm sure up to a million a month, right? Like you can't be the kind of person who just blows it all on just these vanity kind of items.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those ones where if you want it, get it, but don't do it for the sake of others, you know. And a great buying frame, right, is if there were no cameras on you, if there was no one else
Hmm.
in the world, would you still buy that? And you'll be surprised with people's purchasing decisions. But no, that's good to know. I always like asking that question to see if anyone has ended up in the beach. and chilling. So I'll ask you in part three if you still got time down the
Yeah.
line. So yeah,
No, like let's say, 3 years from now I'm doing $1 million a month and I'm like, yep, I'm still
yeah.
grinding away 8 hours a day, nothing's changed.
I'll be like, Aman, get a life, Aman, man. Stop
Yeah,
working.
dude, maybe it's time to move
That's
to
it.
Dubai and just like enjoy myself for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly that. So Aman, I know you're limited for time, bro, so really appreciate you doing this part two. But as we wrap this up, what would you say to, current clients and also people that have yet to join the program? Obviously, you've achieved significant growth in the past, like I think 13, 14 months. So feel free to let them know best pieces of advice to current clients and also to people that didn't join the program for whatever reason, hit them up as well.
Yeah, honestly, I've probably recommended EasyGrow to probably 5 to 10 friends of mine.
Nice.
Um, like personally, I'm like, someone's like, I need this. I'm just join EasyGrow. Like, look up Charlie Morgan, just do that. Um, it's for me at least, it's probably the single greatest program that made the biggest difference.
Yeah.
The one program. I've probably done 10 to 15. They're all useful, but this is kind of the one program to rule them all, I would say. End to end, that's really done it all. So I would say, yeah, like do the program, join the program, and then do the work. I think the reason why
Yeah.
I've been so successful is because I actually locked in. I did the work. I think last time we talked, there was a period of time where I was blind or something for a week, like my eyes wouldn't work, and I was listening to Charlie in my head. I was like typing, I was voice dictating all the notes and doing the documents. So the program was incredibly useful, but then I also actually utilized the resources that you guys gave. So
Yeah.
number one, join the program, but number two, actually do the work, and you'll see some great results.
Sweet. Perfect, man. What's the next goal? Talk to me.
I think we're just scaling, man. I would say like I want to hit 200K probably a month with like at least 50% profit margin. And then I'm probably going to scale into other niches in the way that it's more like my personal goal is to become a bit of like a household name in business. It's not about the revenue at that point. It's more
Hmm.
like I don't really have a desire to personally make like 500K, 600K a
Yeah.
month. I think for fulfillment goals, I want to like be more of like bigger on different platforms, kind of like Hormozy, right? I
Yeah.
would like to become one of those people. So 5 years from now, that's kind of the long-term goal is to go
Yeah.
more on the like household
It's
name side of things.
it's funny you say that. And I'm not just saying this to like brown nose you or because you're a
Hmm.
client. You actually are one of the big names when it comes to guys that graduates can look up to. I can, get like proper internship because it's very rare
Hmm.
for that type of thing. So we can definitely discuss this off camera as well, man. Because I know you're limited for time here, so that's definitely on track. If it's not even happening right now, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much part two for the interview here with Aman. Highly advise you to check out part one. I think that interview was like an hour long, so we fleshed
Yep.
everything out there, and this was a part two where we just added in the finer details, which was mainly just Aman hiring some closers and doing the simple things to double, which is great. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this one valuable. I'm just going to do my quick famous outro here that Aman you probably still remember from 7 months ago. If you are someone that has gone online and you've seen these dodgy adverts about online business where they'll tell you that you'll get rich overnight without having to work and you can sit on a beach and you have a magical Rolex on your left wrist and you're driving a Ferrari and you don't have to do any work whatsoever, this is not the program for you. Unfortunately, you do have to put in the work, time, and effort, just like Aman has. If, however, you do find that get rich quick pill, please send it my way. Don't send it to Aman. He doesn't need it. He's doing very well. But no, send it my way. Full name Normia. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you gotta find me. Jokes aside, though, if you are willing to put in the work, just like Aman has, again, he has put in the work for more than a year now, and I've seen it firsthand and you're willing to follow a proven roadmap to get to where you desire to be, then feel free to book a call with us as we can probably help. If you're still on the fence about booking a call or you're thinking about it, that's perfectly fine. We've done over 107 interviews, not counting duplicates or part twos. So be sure to check all of them out. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this one valuable and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.